sort of see what the differences in training are, and how people think about problems, and all these cultural differences that you see on the social level. There are also a lot of cultural differences in terms of academics. I really love the fact that I have collaborations all over the world, and if I feel like I'm getting bored being in the US, I can just call somebody up and say, hey, call me, invite me for a talk. I really want to go for 3 days and, check out Germany again. I've met a lot of people, increased my network. One of my goals that I've recently identified as well as a result of all this training is that I would like to establish a neuroscience program, a translational neuroscience program at the master's level. And I came up with that idea because I was in a master's program myself at the University of Tübingen in Germany. And I thought that that was a great way for me to try to figure out what I wanted to do, because it was only 2 years. It's very intense, but it's just 2 years. So you're not signing up for a full 5-year program. You actually have a chance to, do something specialized that's going to contribute to your job security, and you can, we had the chance to do rotations, so I had like 7 rotations, visited different labs all around the world, and eventually found that one lab in the city I was in that was the ideal fit for me. So if you have a chance to go abroad, I would strongly suggest that you take it. If you feel like you don't really know what you want to do with your career right now, and you don't really know whether you want to do this for the rest of your life, if you have the economic stability, first of all, and if you have the support, I would suggest that you take a little bit of time off, maybe work in a lab, not necessarily thinking, I'm going to go apply for med school this year or something. Just, take 6 months, a year off of work in a lab, do something, that will require you to learn new things and develop different aspects. And take some time to think about it, because it's not a race. So whatever you choose to do, you're going to get there. You just need to try to figure out what you like, whatever strategy you can take that's going to help you identify your passion. That's a good thing. And if you're interested in going abroad, there are a lot of opportunities for American students and foreigners that want to go, for example, to Germany or to France, or there are different places. So I know that for U.S. citizens, there's something called Fulbright, the Fulbright Scholarship. So if you can apply for something like that, that would be ideal. And it looks really good on your resume. I don't have one, but I've heard of this one. And there are different programs. Like, you can think about the country that you want to go to. For example, if you want to go to Germany, they have an organization called the DAAD, and they focus on establishing cultural exchanges with your university and the university in Germany, the target university, and that's actually how I ended up going to Germany, because I was going to go learn German. And I ended up learning German on my own and going to a master's program that was entirely in English, and where I met a lot of wonderful people, and we were only 14 students, so we had a very specialized training, and it really makes you see things differently. And it might increase your chances of getting into medical school. Maybe right now the competition is really tough. Maybe if you go abroad for a year, get another experience, that might differentiate you from some other applicant that has had a traditional training.
Yeah, so visiting other places broadens your experience so much, and you start to know yourself better, because you have to interact with different people that have, completely different view on life and different experiences, and you try to be their friends, and it's really, it's like completely secondary. If you have a chance going any place abroad, just go, and it's an amazing experience. In my lab, I had like 3 or 4 students that I managed to push out, or they applied and went abroad. One was actually Fulbright score, and they all enjoyed it. They like coming back to Stacy. I'm not saying that they all want to never go back. They all like coming back, but the experience is pretty much good.
So what aspects of the day-to-day research profession do you enjoy the most and then the least?
Do you do a lot of hands-on experiments right now?
Much less than I used to. Yeah, so that's the. Well, let me tell you how I do. sure I have enough funding that I can pay my students and pay my research. So I would say probably 60% of the time I write grants. And then 30% time of the time I troubleshoot the research. Yeah? If I give a project and the student is doing great, I mean, why should I interfere in it? I mean, it's going great. Don't spoil what's working yet. So I mostly participate in part of research that do not work or do not work as fast as possible. And then the nicest part actually, bringing together ideas. Yeah, so my biggest, of course, part of work is actually having ideas, and that's the most fun. Actually, in some respects, writing grants can be fun because you have to actually explicitly put some ideas on paper and close the gaps and make sure that it makes sense. So there's some good aspects to writing grants too. But it's often frustrating because not even close, we don't get not close every grant that we apply, usually one many. So we have to repeat the process, and sometimes we get reviews and we have very strong feelings about the reviews and the reviewers, and not very positive, I may add. That some work is not being understood, what we are trying to do. And then of course there's sort of administration that we do. I mean, we see many committees that we have to make the university work in. And sometimes that's more exciting, sometimes much less exciting. The teaching is another big responsibility that we have, which actually is a lot of fun because meeting people like you who are starting, and it's a lot of fun. Maybe not in exactly 200 some people class because again I almost don't see it. But when I'm teaching smaller classes, it's a lot of fun talking to people and making people later come. And that's how I also get my graduate students. So I would say frustration from not succeeding in everything I do and actually trying to do research and trying to do experiments that do not work, and I get no idea why they don't work. But on the other hand, it's fun, yeah, because that actually makes me think about the project. So there are almost good and bad sides to everything that we do. There are things that make me frustrated. I don't make enough money. I want more students. Make sure they get something to pay my students with. Yeah.
So one of the things I really enjoy is interacting with students, and one of the reasons why so right now I'm applying for assistant faculty positions, but I'm not applying to so-called tier 1 universities where the bulk of your work is basic research, because I've identified that I really enjoy working with students. I do a lot of mentoring, and right now I'm teaching an introductory neuroscience class at EMU. And one of the things I like there is that we don't have those 200-something student classes. Classes are small. My class right now is about 26 people, so it's nice to be able to interact with each one and try to help them figure out what their best career path is. And I figure, for me, it's very energizing, to go to class. And I love everything about neuroscience. So whenever I look at their textbook, I'm putting together the lectures and the slides and coming up with discussion-based activities and inquiry-based strategies so that students are really engaged during the class and that nobody dozes off and that they all understand the topic. And it's just really exciting. And since I've identified something that I really enjoy, I think that gets other people really motivated as well. And in the lab, there are things like, I really enjoy looking at the results. I enjoy doing things where I know that the animal would survive and potentially get better. So I'm doing a lot of rodent surgeries, and I inject a lot of things directly in the brain and in the cerebellum to try to make the animals walk better. So that part is really cool because you can actually do the behavior and you see the animals, you interact with the animals for 2-3 weeks, you test them on these tasks, and then if they get better, you're like, wow, I found this channel that works, and I found this drug that helps them walk better, and eventually at